fingers. Do your stuff.
Man.
Today we're diving into the bizarre, the baffling, and the brilliantly bonkers world of 80s sitcoms, specifically the ones that left us wondering, wait, was that real? And leading the pack is Out of This World, a show so strange it felt like E.T. crash-landed into Saved by the Bell. We dug deep into the weirdest corners of 80s TV history to bring you the ultimate list of shows that stuck in our brains like theme songs we can't forget. So today, we're counting down the weirdest sitcoms 80s kids can't forget, whether they want to or not. And hey, if any of this triggers a repressed memory involving laugh tracks and aliens, go ahead and like, subscribe, or freeze time. Whatever works. Let's kick off the countdown with number 9. Number 9, Mike and Angelo. Mike and Angelo was the British sitcom where a boy finds an alien living in his closet, and somehow it ran for 12 seasons. Yep, 12. Angelo the alien spoke perfect English, wore a blazer, and built inventions that usually blew up the kitchen. Science? Optional. It wasn't a huge hit in the US, but UK kids who grew up with it remember the mayhem fondly. Imagine Mork and Mindy, but with less Robin Williams and more accidental time travel. It was weird, loud, and made zero sense, which made it perfect after-school chaos. Let's keep it going with number 8. Number 8, Dinosaurs. Not the mama. Dinosaurs was a Jim Henson fever dream where prehistoric creatures wore flannel, argued about politics, and raised kids in suburbia. The dad worked for a corrupt company called Wasaso. The baby hit people with frying pans. And yes, there was a laugh track. It looked like a Saturday morning cartoon, but tackled stuff like toxic masculinity, consumerism, and the environment, before literally ending with the Ice Age, as in everyone dies. It was bold, it was bizarre, and it gave us one of the darkest sitcom finales ever, wrapped in a dinosaur onesie. Here's number 7. We're going deeper into the weird. Number 7, Max Headroom. Before AI influencers and deepfakes, there was Max Headroom, a glitchy, stuttering virtual host with a plastic haircut and a permanent smirk. He started as a music video VJ and somehow got his own dystopian cyberpunk sitcom in 1987, set 20 minutes into the future. The show followed a TV reporter and his digital alter ego exposing corporate corruption. It was satire, science fiction, and just plain strange. Think RoboCop meets SNL, if both were written during a caffeine overdose. It only lasted 2 seasons, but Max's glitchy charm and prophetic tech commentary weirdly ahead of its time. Here comes number 6, one of the strangest Saturday morning fever dreams ever put on television. Number 6, Pee-wee's Playhouse. Pee-wee's Playhouse was technically for kids, but let's be honest, it felt like it was written during a sugar rush and animated during a fever dream. Talking furniture, a genie in a box, Lawrence Fishburne as Cowboy Curtis. It was chaos in Technicolor. Paul Rubens's Pee-wee was part man-child, part trickster god, bouncing around in a playhouse where the secret word of the day could trigger a full-blown meltdown. It aired on Saturday mornings, but felt more like late-night sketch comedy for toddlers. It was weird, wild, and way smarter than it looked. Also, still oddly iconic. Let's roll into number 5, where we meet the quietest robot child in sitcom history. Number 5, Small Wonder. Small Wonder asked one big question: what if your daughter was actually a robot? The answer: deadpan stares, mechanical voice, and a lot of awkward blinking. VICI, voice input child identicant, was the monotone heart of the Lawson family. And yes, she slept standing up in a cabinet. Her dad, a robotics engineer, secretly built her and passed her off as their adopted daughter. Classic sitcom logic strikes again. The show was shot on a low budget with acting so stiff it made Vicky seem natural. And yet, it ran for 4 seasons in syndication. Why? Because 80s kids couldn't look away. It was creepy, it was weird, and it somehow worked. Kind of. Let's keep going with number 4. Number 4, ALF. ALF, short for Alien Life Form, crash landed into the Tanner family's garage and somehow never left. He was loud, sarcastic, and constantly trying to eat the family cat. You know, wholesome stuff. This furry, wisecracking alien from the planet Melmac quickly became a pop culture icon. The show mixed fish out of water comedy with surprisingly emotional moments, and also puppetry. Lots of puppetry. Operating ALF reportedly took 3 people and a whole set full of trapdoors. Because sitcoms are simple, right? Alf was the weird uncle of 80s TV. Funny, chaotic, and a little exhausting. And while the show ended on a cliffhanger, government agents closing in, he lived on through cartoons, talk shows, and every thrift store t-shirt rack ever. Here comes number 3, the alien who walked so the rest could bumble. Number 3, Mork and Mindy. Before there was ALF, there was Mork from Ork, played by a then unknown Robin Williams in full chaotic genius mode. Mork and Mindy started as a spin-off from Happy Days, Don't Ask, and quickly turned into a cosmic oddball classic. Mork wore rainbow suspenders, sat on his head, and said things like "Nanu Nanu" and "Shazbot," which somehow made perfect sense in 1978. He lived with Mindy, a human roommate who mostly just blinked in confusion, as Mork delivered his weekly report to a giant floating voice named Orson. It was peak network panic mode. Take a star, add an alien, and hope for magic. And thanks to Williams, it worked, at least for a while. On to number 2, where fairy tales met Reagan-era suburbia. Number 2, The Charmings. In The Charmings, Snow White and Prince Charming get magically zapped into 1980s Los Angeles and decide to stay. Because of course they do. Along for the ride, their 2 sons, the wicked stepmother, and a talking mirror who gave sass like it was a full-time job. This was classic sitcom logic on steroids. Medieval royalty trying to figure out microwaves, mortgages, and minivans. It leaned hard into the fish out of storybook trope, but never quite figured out who it was for. Kids, adults, time-traveling dwarves. It only lasted 2 seasons, but if you remember it, you really remember it. It was weird, it was charming, pun intended, and honestly, kind of ahead of its time. And now, the moment of truth, the weirdest of them all. Number 1, Out of This World. Half human, half alien, fully confusing, Out of This World was the 80s sitcom fever dream that kids remember vividly, and adults still don't believe existed. Evie Garland was just your average teen, until she discovered she could freeze time by touching her fingertips together. Like, full pause, the world freeze. Turns out her dad was an alien from the planet Antareus. He spoke to her through a glowing cube that sat in her bedroom like a celestial Alexa. Her mom was in on it. Her uncle was clueless. Her best friend was comic relief. And every episode ended with a moral, a laugh, and a reminder that the writers were making this up as they went. It was syndicated, not network, which meant it could be a little weirder, a little cheaper, and a lot more unforgettable. Guest stars included everyone from Bonnie Franklin to Buzz Aldrin. Yes, the astronaut. The show ran for 4 seasons before ending on a cliffhanger. The final episode, Evie accidentally zaps her mom to another galaxy. Roll credits. Forever. Was it good? Not exactly. Was it iconic? Absolutely. Because Out of This World didn't just embrace classic sitcom logic. It froze it, kissed it on the cheek, and beamed it back to Antareus. Okay, be honest. How many of these shows unlocked a memory you didn't know you had? Was it the robot child, the talking mirror, the alien in the closet? Drop your weirdest 80s sitcom memory in the comments. We want the deep cuts. And hey, if you've made it this far without freezing time, maybe give that like button a little tap. So what did we learn today? That the 80s weren't just neon and shoulder pads. They were also full of talking furniture, alien dads, and robots disguised as suburban kids. These shows might not have won Emmys, but they definitely won a spot in the weird little corners of our collective memory. Because when sitcoms get strange, they either crash and burn, or become cult classics. If you enjoyed this nostalgic trip through the twilight zone of television, give us a like, subscribe, or drop a nanu nanu in the comments. We'll take it all. Until next time, stay weird, stay wonderful, and whatever you do, don't touch your fingertips together unless you really mean it.